Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 1923 Main Street.
Home of everything to do with Disney travel in style. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Braddock.
And I'm Amelia Braddock. And today, February is the month of love. So Disney's bridal collection has been released for 2024, as well as how to spend your Valentine's Day in luxury at Walt Disney World.
And it's not just the bridal collection. Before we talk, now, I know Amelia immediately wants to go to the bridal gowns.
I'm focused on the bridal collection.
But there was more news, destination travel and style related, in that Disney has now opened up EPCOT for an on-location wedding. So, I always thought Magic Kingdom, and maybe still is for me, not that I'm having a wedding anymore, I've already had mine, but if I could have a wedding in a Disney park right now, I think it would probably still be Magic Kingdom for me. But if you want to set your wedding up right in front of Spaceship Earth, you can now do that.
I just think for the price point that they're having these weddings, I don't know of very many people that have that much of an emotional attachment to the Spaceship Earth ball. But maybe
I don't
I'm
know.
wrong.
Yeah. Well,
maybe I'm wrong.
No, yeah, I think you are wrong. I know from our followers, a lot of people love EPCOT and Spaceship Earth Sunday and everything else that goes with it. So
now, I'm not saying we don't love it. I'm just saying, do we love it
more than the Magic Kingdom?
And do we love it to the point of how much they're charging there is the question.
Well, if you do it, they have noted, of course, that you'll get unique lighting on Spaceship Earth, choreographed to music and changing color patterns. I don't know I'm sure they'll do anything for you for a price. You can do that. Now, if you're wondering what these things cost, because Amelia's mentioned that, I have to say, given what I thought Disney might do, I don't think, of course they're expensive, but I don't think they're outrageously expensive given some of the prices I see people spending on weddings anyway.
I think given Disney pricings and wedding prices, and this is all in one industry, I would say it's relatively within what you'd guess.
Yeah, on the expensive end. Now,
for sure.
For starters, if you want to book EPCOT, you can book it now for weddings starting in January of 2025. So they're booking now, you can't have a wedding there before next January. So just under a year from now. So what are the costs of these things? Of course, costs vary, right? If you want to have your wedding in a Disney park, it depends, like any wedding. What are you serving? There's a range of things, but it all starts with this $40,000 ceremony fee. And then it goes up from there.
Ceremony fee.
So ceremony fee in Disney terms means for $40,000 in an in-park wedding, that includes, the setup of the ceremony area, of course, a sound system, a microphone, all that stuff that you would need for the service, and seating for the ceremony. And then it goes up from there. And they have some, as you can imagine, quite extravagant setups of tables and dance floors in front of Cinderella Castle with underlit lighting. You don't always have to do it there. I'm sure it's a little less expensive. They do some weddings in the, when you're going up Main Street in the Magic Kingdom, halfway up Main Street on the right, there's a little nook near the jewelry area where you get your silhouettes done. Well, they also make that with beautiful couches and things for weddings, which is not Castle in front, but, it's still obviously Main Street USA wedding.
Still within the Disney parks, so
quite
they
appealing.
Can catch you on that price point.
And weddings, so you wonder how they do it. Weddings take place, they always say 2 to 3 hours after park closing. So if you've ever wondered, I see this a lot. People ask what question?
Why is the park closing at 8 p.m.?
Yeah. Why is the park closing early tonight?
Why is the park closing at 6 p.m.? I myself have asked this question. It's very inconvenient.
Yeah, it could be a lot of things, but it can also be someone's magical wedding is taking place that day in the park. And now that's going to happen at EPCOT too.
So now your new strategy for this is, if you find the park closing earlier than expected, I personally would always hop on the monorail and try to catch a glimpse of a wedding ceremony taking place in the park that evening.
So that gives them time to both clean up the park and then set up those seatings and anything you want for your wedding.
You would not want to just roll in for your wedding and have a bunch of garbage on the floor and
you can do them.
Photographer tripod stuffed against the wall.
Exactly. And your wedding can have from 10 to 200 people, I believe it is. So you can have a small, intimate in-park wedding if that's what you like.
Yeah.
And just for some comparison, the wedding pavilion by the Grand Floridian, that's another beautiful spot if you want to have a Disney wedding. So while the ceremony fee is $40,000 in the parks. It's $15,000 at the wedding chapel.
Do you ever wonder if they just make it so high in the park so that their wedding chapel looks like a steal?
Well, they don't want to disrupt the parks every day, I'm sure, in terms of closing early or having people have a wedding at midnight. Although that could be quite magical. Could you imagine if the Cinderella castle clock is striking midnight as you say your vows, something like that? And then,
That's true.
Food is extra, of course. So food pricing, I don't have the pricing for the parks, but I do know that at the wedding pavilion next to the Grand Floridian, so it'll be equal to or more than this in the parks. I believe it's like $140 per person, starting at $140 per person for brunch, $180 per person for lunch, and how much is dinner?
Nearly $250 per person.
I think it's exactly $240 a US per person.
Is that including or excluding tax?
That is pre-tax, and usually does not include bar. And if that's chicken and pasta and you want steak, if they have that, then it's going to go up. But anyway, Disney. So you put it all together, you're looking at $100, $150, $200,000 for an all-in wedding in a Disney park with a lot of people. And there are people who spend that on their weddings anyway. So, I mean, yes, expensive and once in a lifetime. Well, you hope it's once in a lifetime anyway. I mean, that is the idea. But if you want to go over the top, there is a way to do it. And
I like to imagine little kids at these wedding ceremonies. I can just imagine a little 5 or even up to 10-year-old is invited to a wedding in front of Cinderella Castle, and they have to sit there and watch someone get married and then leave without going on any rides.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the rides are not open. So if you're mortgaging the house for a wedding, the dresses look like a steal.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point. That's another excellent strategy Disney has employed. Make their wedding dresses look like what an excellent deal. Now, these wedding dresses are...
Yeah, as the stylista here, let's get your thought. There are 2 levels, as always. The 2024 collection's out. If you're on social, there's some... I love their photographers. They did the aerial one on the beach and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Now, Disney has 2 wedding dress collections. They have the 2024 Disney Fairy Tale Wedding Collection and then the 2024 Disney Fairy Tale Wedding Platinum Collection. Now, as you may expect, the Platinum Collection is a heck of a lot more expensive.
Yeah, I think the regular one starts at $1,700.
Yes, the low price of $1,700.
And the Platinum one starts at...
Now, the Platinum one, which is sold in stores such as Kleinfeld's, might give you an idea for the price point. These range between $3,500 and $10,000.
Yeah, again, that's pricey. Now,
but
what's your take on the 2024 collection?
Personally, I think they're pretty nice.
Let me ask you this. Do you notice now we're not in the store looking at these, but from their promotional photos and on the DisneyWeddings.com website, do you notice a huge difference to your design eye between the standard collection and the Platinum collection?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Okay.
The Platinum collection is far more extravagant. The standard collection, I just find simpler, not necessarily worse, just simpler, less stylistic. Now,
so less, less extravagant in terms of seamstresses and so on.
Exactly. And you could totally prefer this. Royal weddings recently have tended to go with more simple gowns. So if that's your cup of tea, for sure, go on that. But
I want to say one thing. If you have never looked at these before, like me, you're not a big fashionista in terms of wedding gowns. The dresses are by Disney Princess. So there's the Ariel gown, the Aurora gown, and so on, the classic Disney princesses. There are 4, 8, 9... Yes. Are there 9 in each collection?
There are 9 in each collection. I do definitely love the inspiration they take from each Disney princess. They have, I personally am a big Say Yes to the Dress fan. So they definitely have a lot of different elements of popular dresses. There's only 18, so they try to cover everything. Like, for example, Cinderella will have her beautiful puffy sleeves that are reminiscent of her own dress. I really quickly want to complain about Rapunzel's dress. Why are there no flowy skirts on any of these Rapunzel dresses? She has a corset and then her skirt can spin, and all of these are skin tight all the way down. So that's my slight complaint.
I wouldn't say skin tight, but slimming.
If you spin, it's not going to flow.
Yeah, okay, so they're not spinnable, including the Platinum?
Including the Platinum. There's not a waist seam, and I would like there to be on a Rapunzel dress.
And you know what? I have a feeling
complaint.
that your bridal boutique may do some adjustments for you. For a price.
I imagine they would. As far as the Platinum collection goes, my personal favorite would have to be Belle and Cinderella, but they're all stunning. So if you would like an extravagant Disney wedding element, but are not quite feeling like springing for a Disney park wedding, a gown could be the way to go.
Now, before the wedding, or maybe after, you're going to want to celebrate with your significant other Valentine. So let's talk about the top 6 ways to celebrate Valentine's Day in style at Walt Disney World Resort. A lot of my favorites have gone because things have not come back since the pandemic. However, I still do have 6 things I think would be great for Valentine's Day.
Keeping in the wedding theme at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort, it is the only Disney resort that encompasses a spa. And if you're a couple who loves spas, you can get a spa treatment there. Very romantic, very Valentine's-y.
They have rooms for 2. And just to clarify, there was a spa at Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa, but it has not reopened since COVID. And it leaves us wondering, will the Grand become the only spa?
Currently
I believe
available.
There's one at Dolphin Swan or something like that, but at the Disney proper hotels, the Grand Floridian Spa is the only one. And it would be my personal favorite if I were a spa person.
It's the only practicing one. If you're here for a Disney wedding or just a Disney romantic time in general, I would definitely check it out, whether or not you're staying at the Grand.
So if your significant other's a spa person, that is one great thing to do. Another more fun one, we've done this.
It's a hot air balloon ride.
Yeah. If you think it's romantic to soar above Walt Disney World high up in the sky, head on over to Disney Springs.
We have done this ourselves, and this is the Aerophile hot air balloon, which floats 400 feet above the ground, giving you views of pretty much all of Walt Disney World and beyond. You can do this at day or night, depending on what kind of Instagram photos you'd like to take.
Yeah, there's a couple of things to remember, though.
Yeah.
You won't be alone, necessarily. These are not solo flights.
Well, the balloon holds 30 people at $30 per person, or DVC annual pass discounts might apply. So if you want to buy out the balloon and just go yourself, I'm sure you could do that. The price would just get a little bit steeper.
And also, it's pretty big. It's not like the Wizard of Oz where it's a little basket. You're all crowded. It's sort of a large, huge circle. So you can actually find spot with you and your Valentine to be sort of alone.
It's probably the size of a small bedroom in circular shape.
Yeah, so you can, and it's all the way around the perimeter. So you can find sort of spot to be a little bit alone. And while you're at Disney Springs, if your Valentine loves to shop, why not give them a Disney Springs shopping spree?
Yes, Disney Springs loves to advertise their luxury shops on commercials, and Valentine's Day is an excellent time to do this. You can give your Valentine a gift card or cash, which might be better for non-Disney shops, and accompany them on a shopping spree of Disney Springs. This is particularly great if you don't normally like to spend time shopping. I'm sure your significant other will appreciate that, and this will make it extra thoughtful and something that your Valentine will remember.
Yeah, so, and you know, you could almost make a day of it in Disney Springs, because if you do that and you do the hot air balloon, and then another one we have on our list is the romantic dinner for 2. I mean, a classic Valentine, but you could do that at Disney Springs as well and spend almost your whole day or afternoon and evening there.
That's true. And there's lots of things you could pair with a romantic dinner aside from Disney Springs. One of my own personal favorites is a romantic carriage ride.
Yes, and you can have carriage. I mean, really, a horse-drawn carriage, that is pretty romantic. 2 places for that. Fort Wilderness Resort and Port Orleans Riverside.
There aren't many things more romantic than like snuggling up with someone special and these old-fashioned horse-drawn carriages. They go all through natural surroundings. The rides are about 25 minutes long, and they leave from Pioneer Hall at Fort Wilderness and then Boatwright's Dining Hall at Port Orleans.
Yeah, that is a really fun thing to do on it doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. I mean, your Valentine's week. And for dinners, I would say personally something, well, Victoria and Albert's obviously, but that's really over the top. But if you're having a Disney wedding, you're probably in that category. Or Citrico's and Narcoossee's also on the Grand Floridian are great. If you like Italian, Via Napoli could be fun, or Monsieur Paul at Epcot, or even Takumi Te at Epcot.
Yeah.
Another great one.
Oh, definitely. And to close it out, one of the more...
A classic.
Yes, one of the more simple things to do with your partner, but it'll make you feel like you're in an old 1950s black and white movie, a partner bike ride.
Yes, a bicycle built for 2. This immediately makes me think of Mickey and Minnie.
I know. This
and you
screams
know,
like elegant classic rom-com.
And the good thing about this at Disney World is if you get one of their Surrey bikes, now the Surrey bikes, they look like almost an old Model T car where you sit side by side and bicycle. So it's not like a bicycle built for 2 where you're going to fall over. They're a little bit hard to pedal, so you're going to get a bit of a workout.
Tandem bikes are classic.
Yeah, but yeah, it's not a tandem. I think you can do this at the Boardwalk Inn and other places. Saratoga Springs has them as well around Walt Disney World. But, if you're at the Boardwalk, you can go for your bike ride, and then you can have a drink or dinner or go to a club at Jelly Rolls. There's a lot of fun things you can do in that area, and Epcot's right next door. So these are 6 great ideas just to get you started if you will be at Valentine's at Disney World this year. Lots of things you can do to add a little extra style to your Valentine's Day and surprise your partner. There you have it for all the style insights this week here at 1923 Main Street. As always, follow along on social media. Love to hear from you. We'll see you again next week, and have a magical day.
Bye-bye.